If you're on day 1, day 3, day 7 of keto, and you're thinking, why do I feel so tired? Why am I peeing nonstop? Why can't I sleep? Why am I craving carbs like I'm possessed? Is this the keto flu or am I doing something wrong? You're not alone. And the truth is, the first 7 to 10 days of keto can feel weird. But most of what you're feeling is not failure, it's your physiology. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly what's normal, what's not, and what causes each symptom, and how to fix it fast with practical troubleshooting you can use starting today. And I'll also include my prescription keto note because if you're doing keto for diabetes or fatty liver, your body can respond quickly, and sometimes your medications need to change. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. When you stop eating a steady stream of carbs, your insulin starts coming down. That's not just a fat loss hormone thing. Insulin is also a fluid and electrolyte hormone. And when insulin drops, your kidneys stop holding on to sodium the same way. So your body starts dumping sodium, water, and with that, other electrolytes. That's why in week 1, you can feel a little lightheaded, tired, crampy, headachy, and like you're running on low battery. So yes, keto changes your fuel system, but week 1 is also a hydration and mineral management problem. That's why this one idea fixes more symptoms than anything else. Electrolytes. Let me say this plainly. If you're starting keto and you feel awful, most of the time you don't need more discipline. You need more sodium because low sodium can look like fatigue, brain fog, headaches, nausea, dizziness when you stand up, a racing heart, weakness, and muscle cramps. And here's the issue. A lot of people start keto and they still eat low sodium because they think that's healthier. But in early keto, low insulin plus low sodium is a recipe for feeling miserable. So here's a quick practical baseline for week 1. Fluids. Drink to thirst, but don't under drink. Add salt to food liberally. Electrolytes, especially sodium and magnesium. I like magnesium glycinate. If you've got headaches, weakness, keto flu, or lightheadedness, your first move is not to panic. Your first move is water and salt. Keto flu isn't a virus. It's basically withdrawal from carbs plus fluid loss plus electrolytes drop while your body learns a new way to fuel itself. Normal keto flu symptoms can include headache, fatigue, body aches, irritability, foggy thinking, mild nausea, and low exercise tolerance. So you'll notice like if you're going up the stairs, it feels a little harder. The key word is mild to moderate, and it should improve in a day or two once you fix electrolytes. And that's why I say this. Keto flu is usually preventable, and most people don't have a keto problem. They have a low sodium problem. Now, let's talk bathroom changes because week 1 can be interesting. Some people get constipated, some people get loose stools, some people feel bloated. Here's why. When you change your diet quickly, you change your gut bacteria, bile flow, fiber intake, and your stomach acid patterns. Constipation is common early on because you're losing water. Sodium is low, and your stool gets drier. Fixes that work? Drinking plenty of salt and water, magnesium glycinate at night, or citrate if constipation is stubborn. Don't fear cooked low-carb veggies if you tolerate them. Don't try to go ultra fiber and undersalt your food. Loose stools can happen because increased fat intake increases bile release. So your digestion is adapting, and some people overdo sugar alcohols or keto treats. Fixes that work: stop the keto bars and the keto ice cream for a week, simplify your meals, reduce fat a little temporarily, and choose whole foods and steady protein. This surprises people. In week one, some sleep better and some sleep worse. So if you're waking up at 2 or 3 a.m., there are a few reasons. First, again, electrolytes. I can't state how important it is. Low sodium can increase adrenaline-like symptoms. Second, carb withdrawal. Your body is used to using carbs to relax. And third, your meals may be too light. So if you're under eating protein and calories early on, your body may not feel safe. So here are the quick fixes. Electrolytes earlier in the day, make dinner protein forward, and don't do aggressive fasting in week one. The fasting will come naturally. You'll just say, oh my gosh, it's lunchtime. I didn't even eat breakfast yet. It happens very organically. And then finally, magnesium at night can help you sleep. This is another normal but confusing one. In the first week, hunger may disappear or hunger may feel intense. Cravings can spike because your brain is used to carbs as fast fuel. What helps the most is making sure that you eat enough protein. Don't diet on day 3 of keto. Keep your meals simple. Remove trigger foods, especially keto junk foods and regular junk foods, obviously. And here's what I tell people. The goal of week 1 is not perfection. The goal of week 1 is stability. Week 1, energy is often not linear. You might feel amazing on day 2, then feel tired on day 4, then better again. That's because your body is switching between stored glycogen, lowering insulin, and learning to use fat and ketones more efficiently. So if your energy feels inconsistent, don't take that as a sign you're failing. Your body is adapting. It's a normal part of switching fuel systems. The fix is not more caffeine. The fix is, again, I sound like a broken record, electrolytes, protein, sleep, and a little patience. So I want to talk about what's not normal and when to pause and get help. Now, most week 1 keto symptoms are comfortable but manageable, and they improve fast when you fix electrolytes and hydrate. But there are a few things that are not part of normal keto adaptation. So let's talk about them. Number 1, severe dehydration symptoms like dizziness when standing, racing heart, confusion or barely peeing, or even heart palpitations, because in early keto you lose sodium and water quickly. The second one, chest pain, fainting, or trouble breathing, never part of the keto flu. That needs urgent evaluation. Number 3, severe abdominal pain that is sharp or worsening, because that can signal something your body isn't tolerating well, and that's not something to push through. And number 4, if you're on diabetes medication and you feel shaky, sweaty, or weak, keto can lower blood sugar fast, and sometimes medication doses need an adjustment. So whether it's blood pressure medication or medication for diabetes, it's always good to talk with your physician ahead of time and make them aware that you're going on a low carbohydrate diet. And if any of those happen, don't muscle through it. Pause the plan and get evaluated, because that's not the keto flu. And here's my prescription keto note. If you're doing keto for type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, fatty liver, high triglycerides, high blood pressure, you can see improvements quickly. And if you're on medications like insulin, sulfonylureas, blood pressure meds, diuretics, your dosing may need adjustment. So keto is powerful, and that's why it should be respected. like a medical strategy, not just a trendy diet. Always partner with your medical provider if you're on medication. If you're in your first week right now, here's the truth. Most of what you're feeling is normal, and most of it has a fix. Start with electrolytes, plenty of water, protein, simple whole foods. Don't start with keto junk foods, and give it 7 to 10 days. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. What day are you on, and what symptoms surprised you the most? And if you want a full beginner plan, I'll link my ebook resource below. I'll see you in the next video.